A very good morning to all my dear friends. I hope you all are doing good this morning, dear friends. Today is 4th May and let's see what we have got in the Hindu today. But before that, a positive start. Choose happiness. That's it. Just for the day or just for next 1 hour, choose happiness. And after that hour, again choose happiness, or for a day as well. Whenever you feel a bit down, again remember that you have decided that you are going to be happy today, and you will see this decision of yours of choosing happiness will have a positive impact on all the things that you will do today. With this, dear friends, we have many important articles on our table today. This one is about secret agent. It is more about, this political thing going on in Karnataka. If you have extra time, go through it, or else it's fine. Then you have this targeting Tehran. This one is important. This one is again a very interesting article. It is about a scientific temper, things that are going on, and we are living in an, you can say, in an era of irrationality as per this article. We'll go through it. Then you have this pattern of impunity, and it is about this SC/ST Act and Supreme Court's decision of 20th March. So we'll go through this one as well. And then you have this one, emerging irritant. It is more about CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and Belt and Road Initiative. And here you have yes, no, and it's complicated. Today is Friday. You find this article. So I have added some important bits and pieces from these 3 articles, or these 3 different viewpoints. With this, dear friends, if you have learned something from today's discussion, may I request all of you to please don't forget to give us your like, and do share this lecture with other people as well. If you want to download the PDF, you will get it from Facebook page or from my Twitter handle. And with this, dear friends, StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. To find out more about it, check out StudyIQ.com. We have got a test series out there for you guys. Your prelims are not far, so make the most out of this test series, and it will help you immensely with your preparation. And our pen drive and tablet courses are designed by best faculties of our country. So the material, the items that you will get, the quality is going to be of top of the range. Now, dear friends, the first item is about targeting Tehran. Regular students, I'm sure you know many things about it. I believe everything about what's going on in this part of the world. When I say this part of the world, I'm talking about West Asia. Remember, this portion here is West Asia, as Afghanistan, technically speaking, it is not part of West Asia, and so is not this Turkmenistan, but predominantly this Arabic world here. And then you have Iran, you have Israel, and you can add Turkey as well in it. So these are the countries that are specifically, you can say, they are part of West Asia. Now we know things means, this war-like situation is going on in Yemen for a very long period of time now. Syria, again, a war-like situation going on. Iraq, again, in trouble. So this sort of things are going on here, and you have 2 big players here. You have Iran, you have Saudi Arabia, and you have Israel as well. If you see them in terms of religion, then you find that this one is a Shia country, this one is a Sunni country. And then you have other countries that are supported by Shia regime, other countries that are supported by Sunni regime, and then you have Israel, that is a Jewish state. So, dear friends, there is a thing called Iran nuclear deal. If you are not aware about it, then let me briefly tell you. It is an international deal. You had this United Nations Security Council's permanent member plus Germany. They had a chat with a long discussion with Iran, and finally they agreed that Iran will shut down its nuclear sites. And it was known to the whole world that Iran was, in the name of civil nuclear energy, it was going ahead with this making weapons and things like that, right? So anyways, these programs were going on, and this was a big problem for the whole world, that we don't want to see more and more countries getting this nuclear weapons. Now, the timing of Israeli Prime Minister about this Iranian weapon claim, or this nuclear weapons claim, is a bit outdated, because the thing is that the things or evidence that he is providing are of this pre-JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Action Plan plan of action. This is JCPOA, and this is official name of this Iran nuclear deal. So what he is saying is something that the whole world is already knowing about it. Now the big trouble is just around the corner, because on 12th May this year, we are talking about after a week or something, Mr. Trump will not, at present where we are standing, and the statement that were issued by Mr. Trump and his administration. See, after every 120 days, I guess, I can't remember exactly the number of days, but I think it's 120 days. But after every 120 days, this USA's president, right, will give, or will, you can say, renew this JCPOA. And this is done technically, or as per the protocol, how it is done, that if USA will go through the reports of IAEA, and if IAEA reports and other reports are saying that everything is fine, everything is going as per the plan of this JCPOA, then the US president will renew it after 120 days. But this 12th May, earlier on, Mr. Trump has said that he is not going to renew this thing, because he does not appreciate, or he does not consider this JCPOA or Iran nuclear deal as a good deal. This was done under Obama era. It was America who was very much, you can say, enthusiastic about this nuclear deal. It was USA that was chasing Iran, and it was forcing and applying all these sanctions, and other tactics were placed by USA to get Iran on board. And finally, when everything is sorted out, we see new president coming in, and this president is saying that he's not going to renew this JCPOA. Of course, when this administration, Obama administration, when they signed this thing, they were opposed by this Israel and Saudi Arabia. And mind you that both these countries, Israel and Saudi Arabia, are allies of USA. But then as well, USA did not pay any heed to this thing, because USA was well aware about Israel and Saudi Arabia. They were knowing that they are arch rivals, so they don't want Iran, or they don't want sanctions to be uplifted from Iran and things like that. So anyways, now we have to wait and watch. But one thing is very serious, that if we go through IAEA, that is International Atomic Energy Agency's report, then what it is saying, that so far there is nothing out there that is suggesting that Iran has violated this JCPOA. European Union again is saying that Iran has not violated this agreement. Other countries who were part of this deal, they have also confirmed this thing, that apart from USA, everyone is on the same page as far as this JCPOA is concerned. And when USA is, see, the thing is, as I told you, that this is not a deal that took place between USA and Iran. It's not a bilateral deal. It is a deal that was done by United Nations, because United Nations Security Council was part of it, and basically UN was part of it. So you can say 193 countries, right, out of, like, say 192 countries. When it was signed, USA was also part of it. But now USA is taking a unilateral decision, and if USA will reimpose sanctions on Iran or Tehran, then what will happen is, in today's international page, you will find this statement that Iran's foreign minister has said that if USA is going to walk out, or if it is going to step out of this deal, then we will start our weapon making again, or we will continue our program. And this will impact North Korean deal and future deals as well. So USA has to be very careful here, and they have no right, without providing any convincing argument or logical, you can say, factual data, they have no right to walk out of this type of deals. With this, dear friends, this one is about a pattern of impunity. On May Day, that is 1st May, Dalits and Adivasis, they organized, of course, celebration was going on around the country or around the world, because this is International Labor's Day, right, this May Day. But in our country, it was observed by Dalits and Adivasis in different parts of our country as National Resistance Day. Now, they are resisting against this March 20th order of Supreme Court, which is taken so far as, you can say, it is basically, you know, diluting this this SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989. Now, at present, there are three demands that are placed by this group, Dalits and Adivasis. They are asking to make it, or to stop this dilution or restore the things that were there in this SC/ST Act. The other thing that they are asking for is that add this law in 9th schedule of our constitution, so that it can get a sort of protection from judicial review. And the third thing is, all these protesters who were arrested during Bharat Bandh, they should be released as well. Now, as far as these two items are concerned, I believe the law and technicality will take its own course, because if someone has destroyed public property, then that particular person has violated. You have every right to go ahead with a peaceful protest, but you cannot hit someone, or you cannot take law in your hand. So these two things will be dealt as per rules and regulation. But the main thing here, this a pattern of impunity, and regular students, again, when this thing was out for the first time, when we saw articles and editorials on this particular item, I believe you will remember this thing, that I told you this point, that what we need is, we need to sort out criminal justice system. We need more Sherlock Holmes, I told you, remember? And that's what this article is also talking about. Now, the good thing about this article is that it is giving us this background story of how this whole thing started. Basically, there was a case going on. It is known as Subhas Kasinath Mahajan versus State of Maharashtra. And now there is a person called Bhaskar Gaikwad, and he was a storekeeper in a college. And what he found, that the principal of that college, Satish Bishe. Now, Satish Bishe is a known scheduled caste person, and Bhaskar Gaikwad is coming from scheduled caste. So, anyways, this person, this Bhaskar Gaikwad, he observed, or he found some illegalities being committed by this person here. So he wrote a letter to the government, to the state government. Now, a person called Kishore Burade, who is also a known SC, he came to know about this letter written by this Bhaskar Gaikwad, and what he did, he spoiled his annual confidential report, which is very important. I'm sure you know about this thing, that ACRs are very important for a government employee. So what happened later on is that this person, this Satish Bishe, as well came to know about this letter written by Gaikwad, and he again passed some casteist remark in his ACR. So basically, his ACR was spoiled by these two people. Now, when this Gaikwad came to know about this thing, that because he is coming from this SC, and because of his complaint and other things, this sort of racial remarks were passed or added in his ACR, he filed a case. And after a couple of years, this police, or this investigation agency, they filed CSummary Report. Now, CSummary Report basically means that the case is not true, as well as the case is not false either. So it's in between. So it's not true, not false. So this is something that you called CSummary Report, and it was filed in 2011. And this person, this Gaikwad, this man here, this one, he was not knowing about this CSummary Report for a very long period of time. So these things were going on, and now when this case is, or this particular thing is in question, this Supreme Court has said that by the stand taken by Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said that there are many false cases, and the poor conviction rates of this SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act, as well as high acquittal rates. So considering all these things, Supreme Court said that, this thing is a bit diluted. As per the media reports, this is what people are saying, because what we find today in today's newspaper news item, where there is a very interesting stand taken by Supreme Court on this particular thing. I'll take you through it as well when we reach this news item. But so far, let's focus on this thing. These things are related, but again, I don't want to mix it up here, because this will give you a good idea of how things are going on and what has happened so far, and hopefully what will happen tomorrow. When I say tomorrow, I literally mean tomorrow, because tomorrow or today, because a stand is taken by Supreme Court on this thing. So I'm sure we will find more articles and editorials on this thing in near future. So when you are saying that, let's question this thing. If Supreme Court is saying that this thing is means there are many false cases judging by this conviction rate and poor conviction rate and high acquittal rates and things like that, then what about all these massacres that we have seen in our country? We have seen literally people have been killed, particularly Dalits here we are talking about, and who killed all these people. So it's not that we don't find this sort of things. Again, I have told you that thing as well, that it's a very tricky situation. You see, there are few people who misuse this thing, right? But there are people out there who need this SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act as well, because there are people out there in our society they do misbehave with Dalits and STs. And one more thing that we have to appreciate, that even though this conviction rates are poor, even though this acquittal rates are quite high, then as well people are demanding for this particular law. This indicates that there is a need for this thing, and at the same time we need to change. Until and unless, if we don't change our criminal justice system, then nothing is going to change. We need more good investigators, you know, people who can find out what the reality is, grounded people, good intelligence report, and keeping an eye on things going on. Because if you see rural areas, then what you find is that if something goes wrong, many times you find, because of small petty things, you will find two communities against each other. So before this sort of things takes place, you should, wherever you get a chance, if you are a police officer or if you are local administration, then you should make this thing absolutely clear that no nonsense will be accepted at all, right? If you are coming from lower caste or higher caste, it doesn't matter. If you are wrong, then you will be punished, and if you are right, then you will be protected, no matter who is in majority or minority in that particular area. And in our society, we find this casteist prejudices and mindsets still prevailing. Educated people as well, we find many a times. You know, if you open Sunday's The Hindu, then you will find these advertisements, and this has been raised many a times in various films as well. I think it was in PK or something. But you know, when they're looking for a bride or a groom, they will give this description out there. It's their personal choice, but still, it's a bit strange, isn't it? It's a bit paradoxical. Then we have this article. It is about Into the Brave New Age of Irrationality. And to be honest, I do agree with this article to some extent, that yes, we do live in an era of irrationality. I don't want to blame anyone, but you know, many a times I find some different types of comments, not on my videos that many, but many a times I do go through my colleagues' video, and I find you know, irrational comments passed by aspirants or so-called aspirants, people using internet, people aware about current affairs and things like that. So I am making an educational guess here that they are educated. So educated people making some foolish comments and other things, this indicates that it's not about one particular government. It's not that Modi government came in and everyone became irrational. That is also not right. It is not something, if this sort of impact can be made by a government, and I'm not trying to protect any government here, right? I'm not associated with any political party at all. But the thing is, if within 3 or 4 years, if a political party can have this sort of impact on our society, that it can turn our society into an irrational society, then I wonder that government of India is more powerful than political party. It is more powerful than BJP, right? So government of India means, if we judge if we take this thing into consideration, then we should be a very scientific temperament society, isn't it? Because from last many years, that's what we are trying to do, and this is what our constitution is trying to do as well, and this is what good people in our country are trying to do as well. But when we say that irrationality, then recently we talked about this Chief Minister of Tripura, and he's not just alone. We have a long list. Of course, this particular article is talking about more about BJP leaders. Yes, and this article is right as well. But there are other political leaders as well who pass this sort of comments. And as far as BJP leaders are concerned, I still remember this thing, and it was a big laughing stock for global scientific community when Prime Minister Narendra Modi said this thing, that first plastic surgery took place in our country, and he referred to a Hindu god, and he said that this god carrying this head is indication that plastic surgery was first conducted in our country. And this later on, the Prime Minister himself realized that this is something that was men's. He was carried away, you know. So he realized this thing as well. And after that, he has been very, careful whenever he has addressed this Indian Science Congress, that takes place every year. This gentleman here, this Chief Minister, has said that internet was used during Mahabharata time. Then we know this IPS officer, and it is again a matter of shame that he was a commissioner of police, very famous commissioner, right? I'm not claiming I'm not saying that his work was bad. No, he is very famous, and but he joined BJP later on. There is nothing wrong with it as well. It's his choice. But his statement that Darwin was wrong, without providing any scientific facts and without any sort of evidence, is something that is not acceptable. As someone also said this thing, I don't know who, that Hawkins said, and this was reported in the Hindu as well. I think in one editorial this thing was reported. I'm sure I have read this thing here, this line, that Hawkins said this thing, that Vedas have superior items than E is equal to MC square. And here the problem is with the Hindu as well. They should correct this thing, that now they are their statement or this article is saying that this is something that has never been said by Hawkins. So the thing is, scientific temper is something that is very important for any society, and it becomes a bit easier, when your society is not having scientific temper. Basically, you are not going to raise questions against, or you are not going to ask questions to your ruler, and it becomes very easy, right? If you have an unscientific society, then the job of incompetent ruler becomes a lot easier. You know how it works and things like that. So anyways, we talk about this this casualty, that Dalits are casualty. We also talk about that women, and these things are right as well. But here, this is a very interesting line that I find in this article. I'm not sure how much you agree with this thing, but here it is saying that when it comes to when we prepare this this list of vulnerable groups or vulnerable people in our society, then or items, then rationality should be on top, because at present we are living in an era where there is no rationality at all. But the other thing that we have to keep in our mind is, many a times it is our families and the communities, right? They as well, many a times when kids are asking this questions, that why we are having this different caste in our society, and the parents or these elders will say that this is how it is, don't ask questions or you will get a whack. This sort of things are so. Family values, how we upbring our children and other things, this will matter a lot. The world is moving ahead in doing this scientific research and other things, and here in our country we find this sort of issues going on. So we need to change this thing. Now, Belt and Road Initiative, of course I'm not going to explain it, not being rude here, but we have talked about it so many times. Now I as well feel a bit boring repeating this thing, Belt and Road Initiative. The big problem that we have is China-Pakistan economic corridor, and we know one observation that I can give you here, which is going to be a bit not that fresh because I have talked about this thing earlier as well. Belt and Road Initiative is basically China's delivery system, right? Home delivery. Remember, China is producing everything, so what it is saying that we are making this storehouse here, or you can say warehouse, or we are creating this roadways and waterways. So if you need our products, you can order it and we will get it delivered as soon as possible. Of course, we will buy few items for you from you as well, a little bits and pieces here and there, but remember, we will be flooding your market with our products. That's what BRI is all about. And now they have also started this Polar Silk Road, right? From here you enter this Arctic Ocean, and from all the way to Arctic Ocean you cover this Russian cities here and reach here. So this is what China is doing at present. Now, of course, when we talk about China-Pakistan economic corridor, this is Arabian Sea here. From energy security point of view, it's easier for Pakistan, beg your pardon, it's easier for China to, from this portion, Iran and Saudi Arabia, the oil can come here, from here, get on your trucks and other things, and then directly ship it to this Kashgar area. China wants to develop this Kashgar area. It is bit not that much developed. Now it is passing from, as you can see here, our Kashmir, which is this portion here is Gilgit-Baltistan, and it is at present called as POK, that is Pakistan Occupied Kashmir. So of course no country will accept this sort of thing, isn't it? That if your projects are passing from a country, then if it is not paying any heed to our sovereignty, then there is no point of us joining this BRI. This one is about yes, no, and it's complicated. It is about this Justice Joseph's elevation. Now my colleague came out with a very interesting video yesterday on this elevation, so I will recommend you guys to go through it. It's a special video lecture on this particular topic. Now you have a very you can say a very well famous expert scholar on Indian Constitution, Granville Austin, and he has said that whenever you find struggle going on between judiciary and parliament, then remember either one of them are trying to take over this constitution, or they want some extra power. Now, so for a very long period of time, we have seen this thing that judiciary has behaved a bit, you know, in a cocky way, that they are not ready to share these details of this minute of collegium. They are not, you know, whenever government is asking questions about how you have appointed this or justify the appointment and things like that, then Supreme Court has said that we are independent, we cannot, and so this sort of things are again not acceptable when we have a system of check and balance in our country. No one is superior. It is only the constitution, not judiciary, not parliament, not prime minister, not president. Constitution of India is the top authority. No one is above Constitution of India in our country. And then you have this cases as well, right? You have different angles here. So in the end, what we want more transparent. We want judiciary to be independent. At the same time, we also want it to be transparent. And hopefully, step by step, we will get there slowly. With this, dear friends, we reach this important news items. A Prime Minister is busy in Karnataka. This has been said by central government on this Kaveri plan. And of course, this is going to trigger some resistance, and it should. Because central government has already missed a deadline, and it is quite clear that this deadline has been missed, keeping in mind this necessity of this Karnataka elections. Then you have this dust storm in Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan has killed more than 100 people. God bless them. And filmmakers have skipped this award function due to some changes that 11 for 1 hour president was there, and after that it was Smriti Irani, so people were not happy about it. Now Supreme Court has said this thing that it has said that may conduct, so all those cases where police people feel that something is wrong, only in those cases it has to conduct a pre-inquiry before taking an FIR. In other cases, and Supreme Court has said that it has not used the word must. So again, we are going to find editorials and articles on this thing. This is biggest spenders on defense products. You can see India is part of this thing, right? And together, these 5 countries make or constitute 60% of total spending around the world. So that's everything, dear friends. This is about gold demand going up because of good monsoon, and AIIB is not a threat, has been said by ADB president. And this is a new snake that has been found from Western Ghat. It is called Bhupati's shield tail, and this is a small picture, interesting picture of Tiwa tribesmen, and they are from Assam. Pass your observation on this cartoon that you find in today's Hindu. Dear friends, these are your answers, and I have gone through your answer. Jonty Roy, Ashutosh Kumar. Jonty Roy has talked about spirituality plus scientific temper. Very good point. Ashutosh, you have talked about soft power for ideological battle, right? I have gone through your statement there, sentence there. Just work on that sentence again. Just improve it. It will give more clarity. I have got your message, what you are trying to say, that soft power can work as a tool or a weapon against this hatred and radicalism, and you are right, it works. Divya Sharma has said that India is a hotspot of spirituality, and this is a very interesting observation. Overall, your answer, do practice, and I'm sure you will refine your answer. And Sid Adab, again, Sid Abab, I have gone through your answer, and I will reckon you guys to keep on practicing. But anyways, that does not mean that your try is not appreciated. Very good try. Keep on doing these things. And I have 3 questions for you here, dear friends. That's everything in today's discussion. Do share this lecture with your friends. Don't forget to give us your like, and I will be keenly waiting, right, eagerly waiting for your answers and your comments on today's question. And you can also add to the things that we have discussed so far. Thank you very much for your support, for your kind love. God bless you all. Enjoy your day. Jai Hind.